Everybody, you're welcome to Daily Digest with Jimi Disu. Right now, this is the first day after we have a bit of normalcy, and I just felt that we should use this day essentially to talk to ourselves, tell ourselves some home truths, and see how we can manage what is left of our lives and the best way forward. So, what we're going to do today, we're going to have a very matured discussion, okay? We are going to tell ourselves some home truths as much as we can. We're going to look at ourselves in the eye and tell ourselves some home truths about what has happened so far. So the past 4 or 5 days has given me time to reflect on a whole lot of things, and with the little bit of experience that I've had of crises like this, I'd like to share my thoughts with you this morning. So just sit back. At some point, of course, we'll take your calls 0700 993 993 993. And of course, your tweets Nigeria Info FM. Now, when you do contribute, we do not want to put kerosene or petrol in a burning fire. I think for now, we'd like to let peace prevail in our society as a whole. Because look, the honest to God, all of us are becoming losers in this game. Ultimately, if you run a business, you've been down and out for about 4 or 5 days. If you work in a company, you've been at home. Now, don't feel happy that you're at home, because as these things happen, for some people, the company begins to realize that maybe we don't even need this guy anyway. And then the company not making money also would have to retrench. So these are all danger signs for us. So when we do contribute, let's be very, very careful. Okay? Now, let's look at the End SARS demonstrations that took place. Very noble. I support, their aspirations 100%. But there's a fact that we also need to know that a few lapses here and there, a few, I wouldn't say strategic misplacement, but I would say that these things should have been factored in. We allowed, the violence and whatever to take the shine away from the essence of the demonstrations. And I think that the warning that I gave after 2 to 3 days about a change of strategy was apt. But unfortunately, it looked as if the thinking at that time was to keep up that struggle. You need to know the country you operate in when you do things like this. What can take place, for example, in Ghana might not necessarily take place here. I don't think that Nigeria has the resources. Now, when I say the resources, I'm talking individually, collectively, and so on and so forth, to sustain a long, drawn-out demonstration like it happened in some Arab countries where people were hitting the streets for 2 months, for 3 months. We don't have that. I don't think we have that. For want of a better word, we have that pedigree. Okay, and how the violence now crept in is left to anybody's imagination. All kinds of possibilities would come to mind. It could have been arranged by who only God knows. The question to ask about the answers or whatever is, was it hijacked? As we speak, for example, nobody has been able to tell us authoritatively what happened at that Lekki toll gate. What we do know is that it appears, and I'm choosing my words carefully, please note, it appears as if there were some men in armed uniform who came in. There's a strong indication that maybe, don't let me use the word maybe, there's strong that shots were fired. Some people have gone to the extent to say that some of those shots were fireworks. I don't know. Because look, one thing about me, no matter how strongly I feel about something, if I am not sure, then I'll just come out and say, I'm not sure. Okay, so when you have mysteries like that, it sets you thinking. You ask yourself, the Lekki axis of the demonstration was probably the most peaceful. And that was where attention was. There was very little or no violence. So why did the armed so-called go to that particular place? What point was being made, if they did? Information in the world today is subject to all kinds of manipulation. You will not believe it. Just yesterday, I was with an elderly couple, and they were showing me a video of supposedly Tinubu running out of town, and him saying, "They are chasing me, they are chasing me." That video I had seen 2-3 years ago. It was Obasanjo who was late to catch a flight, and the flight had been delayed for him, that was running. I know Obasanjo is a bit energetic. And the video had been manipulated. Tinubu's voice was put on top of it and so on and so forth. And that is why for now, I am not interested in social media. I would plead with those who send me videos and so on and so forth not to bother, because I just delete them at sight. Because I want to have a clear mind. By the way, I hope that all of us realize that too much of social media can lead to addiction and can also lead to a mental imbalance. We need to be careful. We also need to know that life has shown us that after incidents like this, when you think you have the almighty power, you're disbursing information, true, false, whatever. Some information you know is false, you send it all the way. You put forwarded as sent, or some silly thing that thinks that you are not culpable. Listen, you're culpable for whether it was forwarded to you. Once you forward it to another person, you're equally culpable. And you need to know that quite a number of bodies and people, even at international level, are interested in who does what. So those who claim to be, I think they call them Twitter warriors or influencers and this and that, you've got to be very, very careful. You might just be digging a grave for yourself if you get involved in sending false information, especially. And then, like I said, too much of social media itself, you have to take it in small doses. Okay, so that is one point I'd like to make. I'm also aware now, because I think I got a mail from the organizers, of the. Now I don't even know if that mail is authenticated. You see, that's the problem that you have. You're not even sure. I'm not sure whether the mail I got were from the real organizers of this EndSARS demonstration. I'm not sure, but what I saw was an attempt to begin to pick some kind of structured leadership, and people were asked to vote and suggest names and so on and so forth. My advice to those who started this movement is the time has come for them to pick an arrowhead. 2, 3, if you don't want one man, you want all powerful, a committee of 4 who started this thing and are very clear in their minds while it was started. This strategy of inviting people outside your mix might not be the wisest thing to do. Because for starters, you could easily get infiltrated. Some of the people that you think are with you in principle have managed their information level to the point that it looks as if they're with the masses, but in reality, they might not be. Experience has shown that. If you remember what happened, during the Nadeco, whatever, and those who finally took up position in the Abacha government, that in itself should tell you a lot. I don't want to delve so much into that. But the EndSARS movement needs to be very, very careful. They need to be very, very careful. They need to be mindful of the environment in which they're operating. What they're doing is noble, no doubt about it. You cannot fault what they're doing, but the manner in which they go forward is very, very crucial. And I would rather suggest that you keep the leadership of that movement to the core. You can't run away from it. This idea that they might get corrupted, they might get this method you're using is even worse than that. You could get infiltrated easily. That is if they haven't even been infiltrated. I'm sure they must have been. Don't forget that you don't expect the same people that this is targeted at to sit back and do nothing. There's going to be a lot of that. So I would like to advise them, to be very. They need to take up leadership. They need to make themselves visible. I like the fact that they're now going to the social media and so on and so forth. A lot of they had like a six, I think like a 6 or 7 alternate plan, which includes lectures and so on and so forth. I'm glad that they know that. I hope they realize, and I'm sure they do, but just to stress for emphasis, that this struggle is going to be a marathon. It's not going to be an event. And I think what also excites me a bit about what they're trying to do, it looks as if, I'm not too sure, again, because the information you have out there, you cannot authenticate. I am not too sure. But it looks as if there might be some moves to transform into a political party. The question then would be, was this planned all from the beginning? Was there a political party in the reckoning from the very onset, and then it was decided that this might be the best route to go through? Any right-thinking person, these are the kind of things you'll be asking yourself. There's nothing wrong with that, really. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that strategy. But for followers, it is important that you're very, very clear about what you join. You're very, very clear about what you let yourself into before all this, So I'd like to take a call. I think I have a caller. Hello, morning. Morning. Morning.
Hello?
Morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Duben from Lagos.
Yes.
If I have to really contribute, as far as I'm concerned, this very struggle was spontaneous. If stories going around is anything to go by, I heard, files. First of all, it's an issue that most Nigerians were able to identify with. So it was easy when files, in collaboration with the other musicians in one town, decided to stage a protest, and everybody spontaneously identified with it. So for me, I don't really think there are organizers per se, because it's an issue that has been there. And when a protest was staged for the first time over by main figures, people were able to identify with them. So the issue of organizer, I don't think it was there. I don't really think it was there.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I respect your opinion, but I mean, if you look at the way the whole thing was carried out, it was too well structured for it not to be planned. That was not a spontaneous action. That definitely was not a spontaneous action. It was well planned and well thought out. Okay, and the issues that were raised are genuine and call for concern. There's no doubt about that. It was well planned. The ultimate aim we don't know yet. Like in all things in life, you must always have an open mind. But of course, we identified with a lot of things that a lot of the issues that were raised. We identified with them very strongly, for that matter, to the point that we even got our elderly calling in. And I think I interviewed about 3 or 4 of them also. So it's something that, yes, we identified with. But now that things are a bit calm, we now need to sit back, like I said, and reflect and say, okay, what is the way forward? Where did we make mistakes? Because we definitely don't want this level of violence and whatever that we had. I don't think Nigeria can survive it. If like I said earlier this morning when I was with Sheriff, this is like a first yellow. A second yellow brings a red, and we're very close to it. So I'm hoping that the government itself would have learned a lot of lessons from that, especially again as it concerns the issue is even beyond SARS now. The issues that this new thing has brought up is beyond the issue of SARS. It's now become a larger national issue. And it has now exposed our elite and political class to be extremely vulnerable. Extremely vulnerable. And I am sure that they too got a feel of what the people think about them. It also, of course, showed up the level of poverty that we have. And I've always said that poverty is worse than cancer. Poverty brings up some kind of mental imbalance that is difficult to describe. I don't think the world's best psychiatrists have found a name for the kind of mental imbalance that poverty brings. Look at those who went on a rampage. I'm not supporting them, but those who went after palliatives, I can probably explain. They went looking for food. So who are you angry against, for example, by burning down the High Court and the Appeal Courts? You don't do things, and then you're doing it in front of cameras, in front of videos. There are enough videos to prosecute 90% of those who took part in that exercise. And you can see that they're wrapping them up slowly. Some even took selfies and posted it. In the excitement, forgetting that what you're doing, forgetting that this exercise that you're going through, maybe one or two people might die and you might jolly well be charged for manslaughter. That's why I call on our young people now to put on their thinking caps. In the middle of that excitement, there is enough. And if you ever think anywhere in the world that all this that happened will go unnoticed and some people will not be held account for, you've got to be joking. Look in the papers today now, I think about 300 or so people have been arrested. You are a young man, 18-year-old, you carry a 63-inch TV. You live in a tenement building, face to face. Where are you going to take that TV now? Some of them on the way, maybe the wise ones amongst them would have thrown the TV away or given it to one bros in the neighborhood who can explain better. Because your fellow tenants seeing you coming in with that kind of thing, will say, but maybe we'll go report this man before they come catch us for here. A lot of the goods that were stolen were tagged. So some of them will be easy to trace. So if some of you still have those goods with you, I would strongly advise go and find a way to dispose of them. A lot of the things that people took were tagged, especially those who, I understand they looted slot and took phones. Those ones are the easiest to tag. So even for those who are buying now, this is not the time for you to buy anything on the black markets, like phones and whatever. And am I ready to take a break? I have 2 more minutes. Okay, fine. Young people who went to the Oba's palace. Maybe if you just took food and went back, that would be understandable. You took the Oba's staff of office. And the landlord of that, whoever took it of his house, allowed him enter that house with it. These are dangerous things. You took the Oba's shoes. The Yoruba land that I know hasn't changed, though. Forget all the modern things that are surround it. But our traditions have not changed. And those who took things, ornamental things from the palace, are advised to quickly go and return them before something befalls them. My uncle told me, Bros M&B of blessed memory, Ali Balogun. He told me about a story that happened in the 50s. When some people of Ghanaian and Togolese descent in, I think it was in Ologbo, no, not Ologbo, what do you call it now, Gwamboche area, accosted the Adimu, the Osha, and roughed them up and took the Osha, there's something, whatever it is. By the time, this is the story I was told, I don't think I was even born when this incident happened. By the time the Adimu went back to the base and came back and dropped something on the floor, they say for the next 1 week, there was a cry of wailing and whatever in the neighborhood on a daily basis. Smallpox, death, and everything afflicted those who took part in that exercise. And it took a lot to. So for those who did that, I beg you, please. I'll take a short break now, okay? When I'm called.
spell miscellaneous?
Of course I can. Is it not MISCAL?
You missed it. See, you just missed winning like
what?
Like millions.
He is not wrong. Get your spelling right. Turn up the power of words. Get in the MTN M-Pulse Spelling Bee and stand the chance to win incredible gifts.
Like what?
Like a 2 million naira scholarship grant, plus a laptop, plus a smartphone, plus an M-Pulse goodie bag for the first winner. 300,000 naira for the winner's teacher, 10 laptops and 10 4G modems for the winner's school. There are lots of consolation prizes. Visit www.mtnonline.com/mpulse for more details. It's as simple as spelling bee.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Wetin dey happen, my people? My name is Justin, and I may be the best stylist for this city. See, I sabi afro, 1 million braids, mohawk, and dreads. Even if you want me your hair smooth like egg, I sabi that one sef. Mama play wetin me my customers no dey use me play. They love me die because once they show, they don't need to talk anything. Me go just run the matter because I sabi wetin they want. Wetin dey work for one customer different from wetin dey work for another customer. But see, I dey give them correct treatment as per stylist wey sabi them.
Original data and credit awoof wey sabi you like the back of your hand, plus including other correct yafu every day. Turn am more on top MTN for me. Open your phone, make you dial *121#. Make enjoyment carry you go.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
This is Daily Digest with Jimi Disu.
Yeah, you're welcome back to Daily Digest, and we're trying to have some thoughts about what took place last week. I hope the elite have now learned their lesson about how they relate with the rest of society. And I hope they all realize now that it cannot be business as usual. The things that we do, the way we carry out our social functions in the midst of all this poverty, the way we carry ourselves, the way we sometimes react to those who some people believe are lesser beings. I hope that there'll be some correction on that. And I hope that the elite would realize that they now have to get involved in ensuring that there is good governance in the land. To the politicians, I hope they've also learned a lesson that there's a limit to which you can deceive or think that you can deceive the people with little things, palliatives and things and stuff like that, and rhetoric. You can see the people's anger. So whether you like it or not, there was a lot of people's anger that we had out there, and it manifested, thoroughly during the exercise. So I hope that would also come. Now, there's something that also happened in the social media that I need to caution about. For example, when this whole exercise got to a height, somebody put out there, this was after the Nation, TVC, and so on had been touched. Somebody put a notice out there listing certain people, as enemies of the Jagaban of Bola Tinubu. And somehow my name appeared there. I'm not talking about it just because my name is there. I'm sensitized to it. But I hope people realize that there is something called genocide. Okay? If you put people's names out there and you say these are the enemies of a man whose assets and so on have been attacked, what are you doing? You're threatening him. You are inciting people against him. And I hope that all those who get involved in this exercise are ready to take responsibility for whatever happens. If you don't understand what I'm saying, go into history and see the people that were picked up in Rwanda, in Sierra Leone, in Sudan, even by the World Cup. Don't forget that some of us belong to international bodies that provide protection for us in the course of our job. And that even if you knock us off, there's a price to pay for it, ultimately. So I'd like to plead caution people who think that they're supporters, they are friends of whoever, and start listening. Oh, this one is for the record. I repeat for the umpteenth time, I have a lot of respect politically for Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. I have no personal grasp with him. I've never met him. I've spoken to him about 3 times. He expressed a lot of, ironically, he expressed a lot of respect for my, for my views that he has said, even though I don't agree with him on some things that have been ascribed to him. I need to explain this. And these things are not personal. We are not busybodies here. This is the job we are paid to do. And therefore, at the end of the exercise, I'm sure this time next year, or by the close of 2023, the gentleman himself will realize that all these his so-called supporters are the one who pushed him to the precipice, and he should have listened to the counsel of those who go and check the book that I wrote. I have a book out there for Sam. There's a 1-chapter paragraph, dedicated to him. I think I called it "The Godfather Never Sleeps" or something like that. I can't remember what it was. I think it was when he turned 50 or so that I wrote it, dedicated to him, because whether you like it or not, he's a political colossus. He's getting a few things wrong. He's only human. And I believe that for telling the truth, I have absolutely no apologies in my analysis for telling the truth. So those who are involved in this, calling out people, making assertions against them, there is something called genocide. I can't remember the exact words. I'm sure there's a Dolapo I know, my good friend. He's listening to us in Rwanda. He might remind me about it. By the way, Dolapo I know says that he believes that the demonstration was spontaneous. He says, "Good morning, sir. It wasn't planned. It was spontaneous." And I say that for the effort that went into it, it was more than spontaneous. Maybe the timing was not planned. But there was a well thought out plan. Albeit good, though. Albeit good, because it went on well for 3 to 4 days. It was after it got hijacked that the whole thing went bad. So I'd like to again plead with people, be careful what you put out in the social media. There are people who are counting. If, for example, you put out a lot of things and after all this is done 5 years from now, you've moved on in society, you go to the American or UK embassy for a visa, they press a button and your name comes up, they're not going to be telling you why. We need to be careful. Young people, you need to be careful of how you express yourself out there. I'm not saying don't express yourself, but I've seen a lot of carelessness. In the social media. And the unfortunate thing about the social media is once you drop it, it will haunt you if you're not careful for life. And you can be picked up. Just about 3 years ago, they were picking up some 90-something-year-old man Nazi that took part in the Holocaust during the Second World War. He was in his 90s. They wheeled him down on a bed to answer the charges. So when you call in social media these things, for God's sake, be careful. It's not a free. The implications of what you put out there are far and wide. If nobody has told you, you better hear it now. Far and wide, and can haunt you. It's like sometimes when I see women involved in prostitution, and I say that, or involved in porno, and I say, well, you don't know what you might be in future. We have a first lady of a nation, for example, who was a model. I'm sure at the time she was modeling, she never knew. She probably never thought that she'd be a first lady, or And when I say modeling, I'm not talking about, what I'm saying. And she never knew that would crop up. So don't. As you get involved in these things, in the first instance, be careful you don't get into this social media addiction, and then watch what you push out there. Back again to the traditional whatever, I would plead with those who took certain items from the Oba's palace to please quietly go and return them. This is very, very wise counsel please go and return them. And if you've disposed of them in a manner, go and tell your parents. They will know what to do. There must be elderly people in your family. They will know what to do. Because when this thing comes back to haunt you, nobody will be there but you. The gentleman who I saw him with the staff of office, there's even a video of him, so he's identifiable. Somebody even gave his name out. So he doesn't know the implication of what he has done in the midst of anger. And if the words of Princess Eriludosumo, who is part of the royal family, is anything to go by, the earlier you go and seek forgiveness, the better it might be for you. It's funny, Zainab, that somebody, the level of anger must have been something else. To go and take certain items, that are traditional, and some of them, I don't know what items they took, and I don't know what, but some of these items must never leave the palace. Remember, the Oba of Benin, for example, had to do when he got so angry about these prostitutes in Italy, whatever. He had to go and bring one to mop or one to swear. That he hadn't seen sunlight for 70-something years. Why would you want to go and tamper with such a thing? It's a daily digest with Jimi Disu. Today is a bit of a sober day. It's a day of reckoning, and it's a day we need to talk and tell ourselves some home truths. I have another caller. Hello, good morning. Morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Morning, yes.
My name is Jide from Jide.
Please, you have to speak up because I can hardly hear you.
Okay. My name is Jide from Jide.
Aha, go on. Yes, I can hear you.
And I want to start by saying, what the whole CY seated, the young will probably not see they climb the Iroko tree. This alluded to the fact of your discussion with those young guys you brought the other time.
Yes.
I remember you advising them to get a arrowhead to channel their views and their grievances. I never knew it was going to come to this, but probably you knew. That was why you were advising them strongly back then. But it is unfortunate that it has come to this. It is so unfortunate that it is like this. Way forward, I think they should meet with the government. Government has come out to say, okay, they are setting up the panel and so on and so forth. Let us meet with the government and let us be realistic with our demand.
Yes.
This is not to take anything away from their protest. I did support them, and I'm still supporting them. Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening to you. That's why I'm quiet.
Okay, I'm still supporting them, but we just need to do things properly. Now, talking about our leaders and our elite. Somebody posted, our elite that we've been asking to give us roads, to give us pipeline water, to give us good governors. The same elite are the ones that could not even give us a pack of Indomie, holding them. And we are asking them to give us roads, to give us hospitals, to give us good schools and good roads. And they could not even... Somebody in Ikorodu, one of the representatives from Ikorodu, was saying he was planning to give the palliatives on his birthday. Is it the one that he bought with his own money? We don't do things like this now, Uncle.
Yeah.
We don't do things like this. Somebody is sick, he needs blood transfusion. You are holding the blood. And you are saying you are keeping it for the second wave of when it will be short of blood. Have you resolved the first one? Another one that went to take Jalingo away from Jalingo. It is frustration, and it is expression is the way of how he will express himself. That talk about say someone whatever.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. I can't. There's a limit. There's a minute per person, so we can't take you on endlessly. Let me clarify what I said this morning. A government going through this COVID exercise must always have some reserve. That should be clear to anybody. It's only an irresponsible government that would not have. I'm not talking of the individuals in whose houses they found palliatives and said he wanted to distribute for his birthday. That's not the one I'm talking about. But the ones that was the government kept. You say that you haven't cured one. Why are you waiting for the second? Life doesn't work like that. The fact that you are hungry doesn't mean you eat all the food in the house and then you don't have anything to eat the next day, using your analogy. Because this COVID is not going to be over from what we are beginning to see till about 2020, 22. That is the prediction that we have. And it's just common sense that a government would have a reserve in case you go into another lockdown. It's not when you now discover there's a sudden upsurge that you go running helter-skelter, looking for palliatives for people. It's a pity that we have come to a position in our country now where the palliative itself is raw food. Okay? Because if we had been well structured, if we had a very good structure, it would more or less have been those who are on welfare will get it through the welfare system. Those who are on salaries will get it through their tax system. But we haven't done that. But be that as it may, I don't think the government would give out all his. But his life is not like that. You do that, people will be taking 2, 3, 4, 5. You need to put it. And then these palliatives are supposed to be for the most vulnerable. Even those who are not vulnerable, queued up to get these palliatives. It's all part. And then there was some politician I heard that wanted to distribute on his birthday. This is part of the mental imbalance that comes out when poverty reigns in a society. Remember that when poverty reigns, this imbalance is not just for the poor. When you have a man who has just 2 children, himself, wife, and then is building a 10-bedroom mansion in his village that he goes to just for Christmas, and the whole place is air-conditioned and this and that and that and this. That's a mental imbalance. It's part of it. It's poverty thinking. Don't forget that poverty is not the physical state or financial state of a human being. Poverty is a thinking. In fact, the worst of victims we have in our society invariably are more in the elites than even in the ordinary people. What you saw manifest in those who went to loot is the same thinking that you have amongst a lot of elite and politicians. They all acquire things that they would not need for another 50 years. Even our business people. A man runs a company, he boasts that I'm just doing this for you people. I have enough to take care of my children for the next 20 years. Those who were multi-billionaires a few years ago, where's the money? Where's the money of Nigeria's richest man? Where are all the assets? Where are all the assets? Nigeria's richest man. For people who are in my age, they probably know who I'm talking about. He was almost richer than the state itself, almost richer than the government. Where is the money today? Where is it? So we all have this poverty disease. So when I talk, so people should not feel that it's just for the looters. No. The disease that even the elite have is worse than the one that all of us just have this silly acquisitive nature of wanting to consume far beyond what we are capable of. And therefore, we need healing in the land in that regard. I'm not holding brief for government. I'm not a government official. Government has not paid me to do anything or whatever. But we need to look carefully when we make comments about those palliatives so we don't mislead other people. Government must have, you have grain reserve, government must have reserves. I mean, come on. In your house, don't you have a small place where you keep, just in case of an emergency? Unfortunately now, all of us have thrown the baby away with the bathwater. I'll open up our lines again. When you call from a quiet background, turn off the radio, and please know that you have 1 minute, so you need to compress your thoughts into 1 minute. I'll take a caller now. Morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Great to you, sir. I'm grateful that their station is handling this in a situation that people should calm down. Calm down, because if we pour more fuel on fire, that means the whole country will be burning. However, I want to say that, are you there, sir?
I'm listening to you.
Okay. However, I want to say that there's no way we'll paint black, it will turn to white. And there's no way we'll paint white, it will turn to black. It will always show. The palliative that was meant for people, they are not shared. That was why people were angry. That one aside, if you think that Nigerians or the politicians are doing well, why should there be shooting at Lekki Tollgate?
Okay, thank you. Please, when you do call in to talk, I'd like so that you can express yourself. Let's be a bit more active. Okay, so that you can quickly say all the things you want to say within a minute. I really don't like cutting people off, but let me put it bluntly: if you are so slow, I can't wait for you. I can't wait for you. I'm sorry. Okay, let me take another caller there. Hello, good morning. Hello. Okay, we lost that. Okay, I just have 5 minutes to go, so I need to summarize. So all what we've been saying to ourselves today is for everybody to calm down. Let's take stock of where we are, and let's really think of a strategy of keeping the issues alive with less physical contact. Okay, we must keep those issues alive. You see, because the more you try to bury the issues, the more they will come up and erupt again. So now is the time to put them out in the front burner and keep these issues alive. I like the change of strategy of the organizers. I hope they are the ones who sent out the mail. But it now must have a face for it to grab the confidence of a lot of people. For example, I probably would have reacted to the mail if I knew who I was talking to. Okay, I don't know who I'm talking to. I don't know their faces. I don't know who they are. And I think that this strategy, I can understand. You don't want to make anybody a central point, but it has gotten to a point where it must have a face, and people must have somebody or some persons to identify with to get their support. But I'm glad that the strategy is gradually changing. I'm going to also plead with you to be careful with the social media. Be careful now of the things that you say. Be careful of the things that you do. God forbid, should this erupt again, you should be careful about what you do because there is no hiding place in the world anymore. You don't know who's photographing you. We're lucky in this part of the world. If he was in the developed world, almost 3/4 of those people would have been fully identified. There are enough photographs and videos to identify a lot of people. And this analysis will be going on. The people outside this country who are also interested for various reasons, for the good, for the bad, and for the ugly. For the young people and the other people, remember outside all this you have a future. So all the things that you say, some that you say in anger, you better just pipe down because you don't know what the future has for you, and it will be very painful. It will be extremely painful. You could regret it for life. I'm talking from experience. Very quickly, I tell you, in 1983, before I used to go to the UK with just my birth certificate, okay, just put in your... So I got to the border post, I think it was Gatwick then, and the guy, so of course, let me. Then he called me back and said, young man, whilst you're here, why don't you try and get your British passport easily? You'll get it within 24 hours. I told the man to go away. Just, I'm not interested in all these things. I was to suffer for close to 22 years for that thought that I put down. For close to 22 years, I couldn't go anywhere near the United Kingdom. My identity was even stolen for various things. And so when we say these things, we are talking from experience that one small indiscretion can lead to a lifetime of pain. So I'm pleading with you, don't talk yourself down and say I have no future anyway. You don't know. You honestly don't know. It's a pity that we don't have that kind of mentoring for young people in this country, for you to know the origins of a lot of people. For you to know the origins of some of the big boys you see these days, big boys, big man, empty bank, empty this one bank, that one chairman, this and that. You need to see how some of them started. I wish they'd come out and truthfully tell you the story of their lives, so you will understand what I'm saying. So I'm pleading with you, especially the Twitter, they call them influencers, Twitter rats, and so on and so forth. Be very careful for your future. That's why I have to knock it off. Zainab, thank you very much for being with me today. Did I make any sense?
Of course. So
you know what I said? Oh, it entered your head.
Of course.
But you were away all through the period. You look well rested, sir. Okay, I'd like to thank you all for listening. I'd like to thank Philip for always being there for me. And tomorrow we'll be back. I think we need a bit of fun in our lives. So tomorrow I'll be doing Dear Bumi with a lady that I've never met. I met her on Instagram, Mrs. Bolanle. I've forgotten her surname, but she's known as Bolly Show. And she's coming with her daughter, so we're going to have mother and daughter Dear Bumi. Let's start lifting our spirits a little bit. That's what we'll be doing tomorrow on Daily Digest at 9 o'clock. So go out there, be good to your neighbor. You have no choice now. You don't know when your neighbor will save your life. Be good to your neighbor and be good to yourselves. I'll see you tomorrow.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Depend on us for the best in talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info, biggest.
Keeping you updated on latest news.
Somebody saying they own the mint. So the government just go to the mint and print money and then everyone stand on the land. They share it.
Latest developments locally and internationally. From politics to business, sports, and so much more. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.